Ron.
What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today. Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies. Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley, that is the CEO of Akerna, the best trade idea resource out there. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday! We made it. Made it through the weekend. Back at it another week. Check out beautiful downtown Detroit for me in the background here. Nice 70-degree day. Hottest day of the year. Happy 2021, everyone. Let's dive straight into things. So I'm going to kick us off the way that we start every single day, which is to remind you guys what the point of this show is. We want this to be the best trade idea resource out there. That's what we're going for. If we're not delivering the ideas, call us out on it. Let us know. You got the chat. You have our email, powerhour@benzinga.com. You have 2 million ways to get in touch with us. So again, shout it out. We've got a big day today. You know, let's make some money. All right. I like it. I like it, guys. So I'm going to run us through the agenda. While I'm doing the agenda, yeah, somebody said they love the intro. I'm all about it. So while I'm running through this agenda, drop in any tickers that you guys are talking about, trading, looking at today, so we can get the idea flow going already. If we have time, we'll get to some of them. I promise we'll get to at least 3 of your tickers. So go ahead, get them in there. But all right, guys, what we have on the agenda for today, we did 2 options trades together last week. We did covered calls on Visa. We did some put selling on Palantir. I said we'll walk through the whole life cycle of the trade. So let's go ahead and do those. We're going to take some user calls right off the bat here. Producer Rohan, if you want to get that phone number up on the screen so we can get some dials. Again, guys, user calls, Zinger Nation. It's a call out to you. If you have a stock to talk about, you have something to pitch, you have an interesting idea, call in. You got 3 minutes. Say whatever you want. Tell us about an idea. Get this, slow Monday morning started up for us and light it up. I've got a handful of stocks to talk through. We're going to do Twitter, support.com, Hall of Fame Resorts. We're going to talk about Turkey. And, of course, we're going to do GameStop at 12:30 today. Nick from Bold Trade Finder is going to be joining us. And then we're going to be having a pretty interesting ETF on at 1 o'clock Eastern. So that's the jam, guys. Again, the way that we are disrailing this agenda is dropping your tickers in the chat. I've got my trusty pen out. Look at it. It's a little highlighter pen. So I'm going to be writing these tickers down. So that way we can, make sure we're talking about what you want to talk about. But Producer Rohan, we have somebody on the lines already.
We did have. Okay, here we go. Boom. There we go. Good timing. Hello.
Hey, Rohan, this is Ryan from Forever Reject.
Ryan, you're on the show.
How's everyone doing today?
Good, man. What's up? What's up? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you as well. I got a ticker to drop with some DD I've done over the weekend, my friend.
There we go. First air horn of the day. Kicking the ideas off. Because to the idea show, you're starting us off strong. What is it?
All right. It is Tellurian, stock ticker TELL. Tell.
Okay. So that's, again, guys, help your fellows out in the chat. Ticker Tango Echo Lima Lima. Somebody in Zinger Nation, drop that ticker in there. But all right, tell us about this stock. What makes it interesting?
All right.
And here's a 1-year chart on the screen.
1-year chart. All right, gotcha. Yeah, so it's a natural gas stock that has overall rebounded very well since the little last dip market we've been going through. But the main thing that has me focused in on the action last Friday at the close of the market, literally 12:59 and 1 green candle, we had 29 million buys come through, like at the buzzer, which was
on Friday, this past Friday.
5x, yeah, just this past Friday, it was 5x the normal volume that day in 1 minute at the close of the market.
Okay, here's a 2-day chart. So let's see, where's end of day Friday? So okay, yeah, it's obvious right here. Okay, all right, yeah, that definitely stands out in the chart.
Yeah, and I did some research on them. So recently they paid back some debt to to a project and Driftwood LP. They paid back a big amount, in which they also received a lot of cash on hand, in which we're not sure where the cash on hand is exactly coming from. But at the same time, we did have one of their shareholders actually start unloading shares, but still have a large stake in the company now, with 29 million buys coming in, at the close of the market. And since all these three elements, all these three, shareholders are still like intact with each other. You have Driftwood LP, Total Delaware, and Tellurian. They all do transactions with each other and have in the past in April 2019. Now, with Total Delaware, unloading shares and at the same time, Tellurian receiving cash, it kind of seems like Total Delaware could be refinancing in a certain way before maybe a spike in the stock could be coming. At least that's the kind of hypothesis I made around this. They, out of nowhere, Tellurian gets a lot of money to pay back Driftwood LP, and you have Total Delaware, still in very good relationship with the company, yet selling off a little bit of shares. So I'm not sure where this huge buy is coming from, but it sounds like a little bit of refinancing to me from what I've looked into. So that makes me pretty bullish on it at the moment, since I'm hearing this Driftwood LP project is going to be a go soon, hopefully in Houston, Texas, an oil project.
So basically where you're at with it is, and again, guys, ticker TELL. This is a natural gas play. It's interesting because they just refinanced some debt. And then you'll have hopefully this new project, this new nat gas project kicking off. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. So, with all the three, kind of mini catalysts at hand, I think it's something to look into very soon. And in general, I've been playing this stock since it's rebounded really well around 230s to 240s, and did hit around $3 at one point. So it's already been working out very well on the weekly chart for me. And, even compared to the other oil stocks I follow, this has been the consistent gainer of them all. Even when you compare it to, kind of more smaller cap stocks that like to pop off with oil news, such as Camber Energy, CEI, Houston American, HUSA. Those kind of fall by the wayside a little bit. When it has been just consistent for me within the last 3 to 4 weeks. So I like the movement overall. When the oil market is kind of unsure in general, I like when one stock can really outperform the rest. And, with the growing news, I think it's something to definitely keep in mind for everyone listening.
Awesome. And reminder, everyone, smash that like button, share the stream. Couple comments for you, Ryan, out of the chat. We got some folks saying that big spike up, that trading shares was probably due to options expiration on Friday, which may make sense. And we've got a handful of people saying that the chart looks great. So there's the deal there. And of course, guys, we're gonna throw this one out to Zinger Nation. If you like the stock, hit 1. If not, hit 2. If you're on the sidelines, hit 3. Let's get some feedback again. Let's rally the troops. Let's rally up Zinger Nation. Get some of that idea flow going. And Ryan, any final words of wisdom for us?
No, appreciate the advice from everyone, and hope everyone has a green week. Thank you so much, Luke and Rohan.
Woo! I love it. There we go. Hitting that cash register. There it is. First idea. And producer Rohan, why don't you throw that number back up there? Let's get one more idea from the crowd. While you're doing that, let's bring out some of these tickers on my list. Just some real quick ones. Ticker TUR. Here's a 1-year chart. This is the ETF for the country of Turkey. Check it out. Down 20% today. For the third time president, we're using president loosely, Erdogan fired the head of their central bank. Currency in free fall, stocks in free fall. There's a few of those stocks that are listed on the U.S. So, be careful there with Turkey. I actually thought about doing some bottom picking on this one earlier this morning. I chose not to, just because, I don't know. Geopolitically, there's a lot that I don't understand. The thesis for doing some bottom picking basically is okay, if he fired the head of the central bank and is going to be installing somebody that he likes, is going to be doing policies which are more favorable for the economy, that should be a boom for Turkish stocks in general. So that was sort of my thought on potentially bottom picking some of those, because I'm still sort of hanging out in this risk off stance, and will be at least until we see SPY get to 400. I'm not hitting it, but there's another idea if that's interesting to somebody. And producer Rohan, we got a zinger.
We have a zinger on the stream. Cody, go ahead.
Hey, Luke, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man. Welcome to the Power Hour.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So I got one that I recently came into. It's kind of interesting. It's a OTC, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. But the float is just so low, and the market cap is still really low. It's called TAPM.
PAPM.
And so I think
wait. PA.
Still maybe in the beginning stages.
Wait. Give me another ticker, or say it again.
TAPM.
Oh,
So
okay.
I got,
Okay, so it's Tango Alpha Papa Mike. So somebody in Zinger Nation drop that ticker in there. All right. So tell us about this one. I've got a 2-day chart up here on the screen. Really, really small stock, guys. So I'm not going out and endorsing this one in any way, shape, or form. But Cody, give us your rundown on it.
So I was looking into it. They do apps. They have apps that are selling on the Android market and the Apple market. And they're, one of them, they're basically casino apps. But what caught my interest was back in 2018, they were in the NFT market, and they are kind of reemerging in that. So
so they were doing NFTs. Interesting. And look at this. They put out an NFT PR on the 15th of March. We've got it up on the screen here, their press release. Okay, keep going.
So now it has a low of $2. So this is high risk. I'm not endorsing it. I was just bringing it to people's attention. It being that I've been watching this for the last few days, and we're talking a couple hundred shares. This thing will move $2-3. And so it's one to keep on your watch list. With NFTs kind of reemerging and kind of coming into play with cryptos, I found this one very, very interesting. Just kind of want to throw it out there, man.
Yeah, this is interesting, guys. All right, so this is definitely an under the radar NFT stock, Cody. I mean, I don't think anybody's heard of this stock. I think you might be literally the only one. The CEO's mom hasn't heard of this stock.
That whole Warren Buffett theory of trying to find these cigar butts that are really small things that nobody's paying attention to. That's kind of what I've been trying to play lately. And this TAPM with the NFTs kind of looks hot to me. And then FCAC is a SPAC. I've been looking at.
Which one? Wait. Give us the ticker on that. You're fast with the tickers, man. One more time for me.
So Foxtrot Charlie Alpha Charlie.
All right, there it is. So yep, we got the ticker. Somebody in Zinger Nation again. Drop the ticker in there. But all right, tell us about this one. It's a SPAC trading right at $10.
So this is a SPAC. It's merging with ShareCare, $3.9 billion valuation. Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Oz signed on to it. It's ran by Jeff Arnold, the founder of WebMD. How things work. So that you have a lot of big players. I think Justin Gansky got his name on the SPAC. Alan Minuchik, which is Steve Minuchik's brother, son of a Goldman Sachs banker. He's running the SPAC. And it's right now it's just kind of flying under the radar, man. Coming up with ShareCare. ShareCare has multiple streams of revenue. They work with a bunch of insurance companies such as Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's, one of their customers is Delta, which is self-insured. They're in the COVID play, so they're working with Florida and Georgia right now, and they're doing COVID vaccinations in which they kind of schedule the vaccination. They give you a QR code. They give you your passport afterwards, and they said they're in talks with many other states at this time. So it's just another one that's kind of flying under the radar. Been really low volume lately, but I have a feeling that it could pop, sometime in the next coming month.
All right. This is a good one. And I know that we're coming off of SPAC attack, but let's do a lesson about these for a minute. And sorry, guys, there we go. Banners cleared. So you got the SPAC trading at $10.20. This SPAC debuted at $10 per share. So your worst case scenario, if they don't do a deal, is that you get $10 back. So your risk of 19 cents a share right now is pretty damn small. The bigger risk, quite honestly, that you would potentially just have capital locked up in this thing if they don't do a deal. But I do like these $10 SPAC stocks. I have a basket of them. It's interesting.
Yeah. And it's just, everybody's eyes are kind of on space and the EV and LiDAR, and there's so many of those kind of going right now. People with this clove health, they've kind of just neglected healthcare, but I mean, it's still relevant.
Yep, 110%. So all right, you gave us two interesting ones. We've got the under the radar NFT one. Again, it's really small, not endorsing it in any way. And then you got a SPAC trading at par value with the Steve Mnuchin connection. I like it. These are some nice quality stocks, Cody.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck to you.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks for calling in. All right, guys. How about that? Boom. Monday, starting it off strong. Going to Zinger Nation saying, give us the ideas, give us the stocks. Somebody in the chat too, guys. This is what I love. Keep your ideas flowing in the chat. Somebody in the chat saying ticker SOAC, dip below $10. Another, I'm guessing, pre-merger SPAC. Right now it's at $10 on the spot. There's the chart. Again, like I say every single day, ideas are not just going to come from myself, not just from Jason. Most importantly, they're going to come from all of you out there in Zinger Nation. So drop us those tickers. All right. A couple other things to get to talk about. Drum roll. All right, GameStop. Tomorrow is, in fact, GameStop day. You've probably heard me say that before. Ticker GME, of course. What's going on with GameStop tomorrow? We have earnings, and then more importantly, the conference call, guys. Again, this is the first earnings report that GameStop will be doing since all of the craziness, right? If I click into my trusty Benzinga Pro, I go back to look at their earnings history. They last reported earnings on December 8th. I go back over to my chart here. Let's look at a 6-month. Here's a 6-month chart on GameStop. December 8th was their last earnings report, somewhere right around here. So we have not actually really heard from the company since all the craziness. I mean, like almost literally nothing. We basically got one press release that said, hey, they have a board committee that Ryan Cohen is leading to find a new CTO and head of e-commerce and that sort of thing. That's it. So tomorrow is the big day. We're going to get quarterly earnings results out of the company. The period that they're going to be reporting earnings for is November, December, and January. So it has the holiday months in there, plus the first bit of the craziness, right? So if we want to look at that craziness, all right, here on my chart, you see where my mouse is. I'll zoom it in for you. Let's do this. All right, there we go. All right, so where my mouse is, this is January 31st, right? So about the first half of the craziness, where the stock was running, is going to be in that earnings report. So we're gonna get the numbers, but more importantly, we're gonna have the conference call, and we want to hear what the company says about their future and their strategy on that conference call. We had Rod Alsman, GMEDD.com, on with us yesterday. Producer AB, let's see if Rod is free to come back tomorrow and do a little bit of a preview with us into the actual earnings report. But basically what Rod was saying 2 weeks ago was investors are going to want to see a very definite, defined plan of action. If GameStop delivers, here's how we're going to transform the company. Here's exactly how we're going to do it. Here's a timeline. That's good for the stock. If it's ambiguous, they don't address it at all, etc., we have trouble. All right, so there's a little bit of a preview. Again, earnings are coming out tomorrow after the close, so we'll have some time to talk about it tomorrow. But check this out. I actually was looking at the GameStop options chain. This is the live brokerage account. I was looking at the options chain before the show started because I was thinking, maybe I'll hit GameStop into earnings, right? Maybe I'll hit some high flying calls, right? The stock's at like 195, 200 right now. Maybe I just will grab some 300 calls that are expiring a month out, let them rip, see what happens. And then I got to the pricing. Check this out. Stock right now is trading at 192. That's the last print that we have here on Interactive Brokers. I scroll in my options chain, 25 days out. Look at that. Okay. I go to the 300 strike calls. $3,000, guys. $3,000 a contract. Right? Look at they're trading at almost $30 per contract. Each contract represents 100 shares. So it's about $3,000 to get this action on GameStop. So your break even, right? So if you buy these calls, your break even is that GameStop has to get to $330 a share. And you're staking $3,000 of capital per contract in order to do this. So when I saw those prices, I was a little bit disappointed. It's a little bit rich for my blood to want to go and hit those. I was hoping it was going to be like $3. I was thinking, okay, if it's $3, $300 risk, I'm going to hit that. Let's run up the GameStop. But it's 300. That's rich for me. So there's the deal, guys. Let's look at the 60 days out. Let's see where these are. So if you want to go 60 days out, 300. Oh my God, $45. $45. So your break even is $345, and you're staking $4,500 to see if it'll get there. That is pretty nuts. Seems like somebody saying in the chat, seems like a good time to sell covered calls if you own the stock. 110%. Totally spot on. Absolutely agree with that. If you own the stock, it's good to sell covered calls. If you like the stock, another thing, let's look at this. Here, let's go back to our 30 days out. If you like the stock, you want a little bit different of a way to get into it than just buying shares outright. Sell puts against it. So check. This might actually be a trade for me. So check this out. If we want to sell puts against GameStop, right? We're looking 25 days out on our option chain here. We'll get $32, let's say, for selling the contract. So we sell one contract. We get $3,200 credited to the account right away. And then the risk that we're taking on is that we may have to buy shares of GameStop for $150 a share sometime between now and the basically April 16th, right? Between now and the next 25 days. If GameStop is above 150, but between now and April 16th, we keep the $3,200, we run it up, throw it in the account, keep it there, happy on the next trade. If GameStop drops below 150, let's say it goes to 100, we're forced to buy shares at 150. If it goes to 50, you're getting absolutely smoked on the stock. This is, in my opinion, a better way to get long the stock than buying shares outright right now, selling puts against it, making you synthetically long the stock. So if somebody wants to get some action on GameStop into earnings, that's the way to do it. But guys, I have a secret. I've got something going on for us. We're all going to get a little bit of GameStop action into earnings. But before I get to that, before I tell us how we're all about to get some of that GameStop earnings action, some of that GameStop earnings love, I'm going to make the ask. Share this stream. Blast it on your Twitter. #ZingerNation. Like the stream. Throw in a stock you're trading. Let's get this thing going, guys. It's Slow Monday. Trying to get myself going. Run it up. Get some of these nice sound effects to jolt me back into existence. And without further ado, producer Rohan, can we roll the video for our chat challenge? Zinger Nation is going head to head every single week. What is the best performing stock of the week going to be? All right, guys, you heard it. There's the video. It is time for our weekly chat challenge. We're going to have some fun this week. Last week we said, what is the worst performing stock of the week going to be? Rohan, what was the final winner? You did it. Was it GameStop or was it Plug Power? I saw somebody in the chat asking earlier.
It definitely wasn't me who did it. It might
All
have
right.
been Bree.
All right. Chat, tell somebody Google this or pull up a chart. Tell me what had a worse percentage performance last week, GameStop or Plug Power. We gotta know so we can get last week's chat challenge wrapped up. This week, the question that we are asking the crew, I'm about to drop this link in the chat. I'm gonna spam it in there a ton of times. Is what is the closing price of GameStop going to be this Friday? Okay, here I'm pulling it onto the screen. I'm gonna add my sidekick, my partner in crime, Drew, here onto the stream with us. Here it is. You have the chat, guys. The sheet is open for editing. The question is, what is the closing price of GameStop going to be at the end of this week? You put your name here. Do not write over somebody else. If you need room, scroll down, right? See, look at I see these smart people already scrolling down to like row 50 and stuff like that. You put in your name, you put in your price. I'm going with the options pricing. Going 330. Brewski, where are you at with this one?
Ooh,
GameStop, end of week, earnings tomorrow, conference call tomorrow. What's the move?
I'd say 250. That's
250. All right, I'm gonna put in the entry for you.
Luke,
your name is Drewski.
We have the winner from last week. I got Bree to tell me the details. So it's CAN, ticker CAN, and that was Larry H.
Larry H. CAN, Charlie Alpha November. Larry H. Congratulations. Swag.benzinga.com, run by our good friend Caesar. Again, that's swag.benzinga.com. You get whatever you want out of that site. Email us powerhour@benzinga.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Boom. There it is. Powerhour@benzinga.com. Yeah, and I like what Christian Gallagher in the chat is saying about this chat challenge. Because I feel the same way, right? You don't even know which direction it's going to go. Right? I mean, this is a tough chat challenge, guys. Keep filling in the sheet. No, do not put it in columns F and G, please. Name in column A. Guess in column B. All right? And here, I'll even do some nice little formatting for us. Let's see. How do we freeze a row on this view? There it is. Freeze one row. So now you can even scroll down. See that? All right. Fill in the guesses, guys. I'm going to paste the link, 2 more times. And we're going to run the 30-second Who Wants to Be a Millionaire countdown on this one. If you do not have your guess in by that point, you do not get to participate. You don't get whatever you want from swag.benzinga.com. You don't get Drew's voice on your home answer machine. Shout out whoever wrote the hi Luke. If you want to write a message that shows up on the screen, like happy birthday, Dad. Go ahead and put that on there too. Zinger Nation is about having some fun. I'm gonna start calculating the averages. I'm gonna roll the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. 30 seconds on the clock. Do not run out of time. Boom. There it is, Drew. Time's up. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire theme coming to an end. Again, guys, share this stream. Like this stream. Get your votes in there. Let's see how many votes we have. Let's run the quick count A. If you guys ever want us to do a workshop on like quick Excel tips and tricks, go through some of the most useful formulas, we can totally do that. Count A is how you count the number of cells in a range which are not blank. 54 guesses so far. I see some stragglers, 34 stragglers still on the sheet. We're about to close it up. But all right, Drew, give me your hot take reaction on the max, min, average, and median.
I think the max is actually a little bit lower than I expected. Like we've seen this thing go, 480, almost 500. So, something that high honestly would not surprise me. Min of 48, come on, like I don't think that's gonna happen. This would have to be really horrible earnings, and I don't even think anyone really cares about what EPS or revenue is gonna be at all. Average seems about what share price has been trading at for the last week or whatnot. So nothing too crazy there.
Who put their gas in column and sell A1? Whoever did that is sort of an asshole. But all right. So here, yeah, I'm in line with you. I think that all of these are very realistic. Like normally you'll get like a min price of like $1. Somebody just screwing around. I think that all of these are very realistic guesses. Again, guys, the question of the week, if you're just joining us, what is the GME price going to be at the end of the week? That's what we're asking. Median of the group, 186. Max, 369.69. Shout out, you using my favorite number in there a couple times. It's number 3. And then min, $48 down there. And guys, if you're just joining us, you don't know what's up on the agenda today. We're about to go to our good friend Nick from Bull Trade Finder. He's going to take us through some trade setups because this is the Trade Idea Show. We already got 3 calls. Drew, you missed it. We had 3 members of Zinger Nation call in, pitch of stocks. Did a ticker FCAC, ticker TAPM, ticker TELL. We talked about TUR. We talked about GameStop now. So we're going to have Nick from Bull Trade Finder join us. I'm going to do an update on my options trades in both Visa and Palantir. And then if we have time, we're going to keep running. I've got 8 other stocks to talk about written down from all of you out there in the chat. So stay tuned. We'll try to get to them. But let's see what Nick over here, our good friend at Bull Trade Finder, thinks of this GME action. Nick, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, GameStop. Earnings tomorrow. Conference call tomorrow. We haven't heard from the company since the stock went from like $8 to $500. Where are you at with it? Ticker HOFV. We're absolutely 110% going to cover that, by the way. And I'll give you some opinions there. But Nick, yeah, where are you at?
So, I mean, honestly, like I agree. I don't think it really matters about the earnings, but you definitely are going to see a decent sized move, whichever way, they really decide to take it. Truly, I mean, let me look at the chart. Give me 1 second here. Because I think it's been up here for a while now. I mean, good news is it's at a fib level. But I definitely think, I mean, obviously there's more downside than upside here, in my opinion, as well as many others. I think
can't say that. Somebody's about to get doxxed. It's not me. I tried to buy calls in this thing. Nick, let me ask you this: How much do you think stocks at 195? How much do you think the monthly sort of 25 days out? Drew, you got to guess this one too. Okay, 25 days out, 300 strike calls are.
What they're going to be or what they are now?
What they are right now. We just looked at it on the show. I'll pull it back up in a second here after you guess. Drew, you got to throw out your guess too.
In the 20 range or 30 range.
All right. Pick one. 20s or 30s?
I'll say 30s.
All right. Drew, where are you at?
I instantly thought of 20 bucks.
$20? $30. That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? So like I wanted to buy the calls. Like if they were I thought they were gonna be like $8 or something like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hit a YOLO GME call into earnings. Let's run this thing up. Yeah, $30. If somebody does want to get long the stock, look at this. You can sell the 150 puts against stocks at 195 right now for $32.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a decent amount of downside to go. So I sort of like that one. I may do that tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how the stock is moving into the earnings report. Again, I'd like to hit it. And all right, we'll close this GME challenge in a second here. Got one last zinger saying they're not at a computer, needed me to put it in for them. I got you. It's Skew Boss at 329. All right, guys, and with that, let's see how many total entries we got. We're gonna close it up. Equals count A again. That's how you count the number of non-blank cells in a range. 67. Sharing settings, going to view only. Da, 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 da. Done. All right. There it is. We'll be checking in every day. Hit subscribe. If you're not in the stream yet, hit subscribe. We'll come back. We'll check it out. And somebody's saying that we have a warning on the video on YouTube. Okay, that's sort of funny. Let's see this.
COVID-19 warning.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, you guys do. I saw that too when I was looking at it.
I didn't notice that. We got trumped, dude. Look at this. Benzinga Power Hour spreading false information about COVID vaccine. We're not. We're just talking about YOLO trading stocks. That's what we do on the Power Hour, okay? So that's sort of funny. Speaking of which, did you gents see what Trump said yesterday?
No, what'd he say?
He's coming back with his own social platform.
Oh, actually, no, I did see that.
Here's our one-day chart of Twitter, down 2% on a day when I think SPY is up. Is SPY still up? Yeah. So check this out. We got a day where SPY is up 1%. Triple Q's up 2%. And you've got Twitter down 2%. So if you look at the triple Qs, you look at Twitter, it's like a 4% delta move right there. Trump is coming after him. We'll see if anything materializes.
Yeah,
but all right, Nick.
I actually saw that. I saw that too, and yeah, the Qs are being helped a lot by Facebook, Nvidia, and Netflix today. A lot of strength in those names. I had a morning trade on Netflix, so it really worked out. That's why the Qs are up a lot today.
Yeah, Facebook, I believe, all-time high. Let's check our trusty Benzinga Pro again, guys. Pro.benzinga.com if you want to check it out. I'm going to go to BZ Wire here. BZ Signals. Got a lot of options activity. Do I see that all-time high? I don't know, not yet. So maybe it's not an all-time high.
Not yet. Let me check.
It's got to be damn close.
Yeah,
I'm actually only saying that because somebody in the chat said it. Oh, it's not all-time. Check this out. So here's your level to watch, guys. Okay, if you're trading Facebook, look at this. Double tops right at 305. Two of them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully clear chart. If you guys saw us nail Torchlight literally at the penny last week, this is the exact same setup that we're looking at for Torchlight. We see we got stopped right here before. We're moving above it right now, like right around 298. 305, that's the next level. We're either going to get rejected there or we may have some room to move higher. So, all right, Nick, you want to share your screen. You usually have some good charts for us.
Yeah, I don't remember that stock that I gave Jason last week, but it went up 70 cents and then his computer crashed. I know that worked out well for him. It was, I can't remember the name, but I don't know if he sold it. Hopefully he did. It had a good move. Let me bring up the chart. Let me see what we got here.
Look at this, Drew. Somebody in the chat throwing us some love. YouTube's warning can go to hell. All right, yeah, share your screen. I'm going to take mine off. All right, there it is. We have it. I don't know if you can make it any bigger. Probably not.
I can do that.
Here, I can make it bigger too. All right, all right. Take us through it. What you saw that made you want to get into it, and then if you're out of it now, what you saw to make you get out. And funniest comment of the day so far, VS, all the smart money is moving out of Twitter and into Trump Social. That's a good one.
So I'll just go over my morning trade quickly, and then we'll go into possible trades that we could look at for the rest of the day.
All right, let's do it. Take us through it. You and Drew.
By the way, is this good? Is the screen like big enough?
Yes. Well, let's ask Zinger Nation, guys. If the screen is big enough, drop that one in the chat. If not, drop the two. Oh God, what are you doing?
Sorry.
We just got incepted.
Right, there you go.
I'll tell you. If they say that it's too small, I'll let you know. That's what me and Drew are here for. Okay. All right.
So
all right, take us through the setup.
Yeah. So as you can see, the strength at the open. I actually got in on around the 523 level. So it was actually the start of this, like, I guess you could consider it, I guess, a mini flag or just mini consolidation period before the next move. I got in like right around 522 and went with the weekly March 26th 525 contracts. And I saw resistance around the 527 to 530 area. And once we kind of got into this, I sold just around 528, 529 in the middle of that 527 to 530 and took profits there. Ever since then, it's kind of been just flat, possibly flagging. And other names have taken over the strength since the morning, such as Facebook, even Apple, and Nvidia, which has done really good as well. This is what, a lot of people should be focusing on if they're day trading options, is basically just finding the names for strength, watch the morning, see how they react off the first dip or so, and then, take a small entry and ride it up. For example, look at Nvidia today. Same thing, just a nice morning gap up, took a little dip, and then just literally went straight up from there over like 15 points. So that's, a good thing to do for day trading options. And that's definitely one thing that could help you become a better trader and trying to see these patterns a bit more. Another thing that I just want to share about to everyone is with something that I'm implementing to everyone on Twitter, everyone, on all social media as much as I can, is when you have profits like these, because I've seen a lot of people recently, lose a decent amount of their accounts, on these dips, on these sideways movements. So for example, the Netflix trade this morning, I made around $3,000, which is a good trade. It was around 35%. I took out around $300 in profit, which is around 10%, and transferred that back to my bank account. I think this is a good strategy for many people to implement to preserve cash going forward into these markets. And even when the markets are good, it's just a good thing to do. You could do it daily, you could do it weekly. Just take 5 to 10% a trade or 5 to 10% of your profits weekly, so that you're preserving capital, so that, if a downfall or drawdown happens again, you're not out of the game. You're not, hurt in a big way. It's just another way to preserve that capital. Other than that, let's get into some trades.
Yeah, and Nick, but before we do that,
Yeah.
can we pull one out of the chat from Zinger Nation?
Yeah.
They've asked about the ticker like 18 times. The ticker is AMAT, AMAT. Can you give us some thoughts on that? I'll try to give some thoughts if I have any in Soul Drewski.
Yep. So the 5-minute looks pretty strong. It looks like it's from the open has been very good.
Okay, and when you say 5 minute, that's guys, each candle, each red and green candle there represents 5 minutes of time.
Let's see. Just gonna play around with this for a second. So definitely you could see like a top over here. Oh, hold on. Let me fix that.
Pull this up on mine too. Yeah, and guys, so check this out here. I'm gonna take the screen share over for a second. So this is my trusty Benzinga Pro. I'll throw you a couple zooms. Check this out. Whenever we have a stock that's making an abnormal move, Benzinga Pro says right at the top what's going on, so you can quickly see like, hey, if there's news, here's what the catalyst is. I'll read it out for Applied Materials, ticker AMAT, really quick. Applied Materials shares trading higher after the company provided an update on the Kakusai Electric acquisition agreement and reported the board of directors approved a new $7.5 billion buyback authorization. Huge $7.5 billion buyback. Let's see, market cap of the stock, $108 billion. So that is absolutely material. Somebody in the chat saying, what does that buyback mean? So let's answer that question really quick. So basically, we have this stock, right? They have, I don't know, let's say as an example, 100 million shares outstanding, okay? 100 million shares that can be owned by everybody across the board, the insiders, the institutions, the retail, etc. And so if the company pays a dividend, that dividend gets distributed across 100 million shares. The company has earnings. We're looking at a PE ratio. That's distributed across the 100 million shares, okay? So when a company buys back shares, it means that they're going to take those shares, cancel them, So instead of there being, let's say, 100 million, maybe now there's 80 million as an example, right? So that means when they pay that dividend, instead of it being spread out 100 million times, being spread out 80 million times. So there's more per share. So typically buybacks are a good thing. Companies would only do them if they think that they're flush with cash. They've got the money to go spend to buy back their stock. Because really, who do buybacks benefit most? It benefits the company executives, right? That they are the largest owners of their stocks typically. And so the executives are saying, hey, as a top shareholder of this stock, I think we should go buy them back. It's going to help me. It's going to help all of my fellow shareholders. So that's what a buyback is. And all right, Nick, I'll let you keep going with your thought on the stock.
Yeah, no. The buyback is very good. Recently they just brought that back, if I'm correct. They paused it for a couple months. Can
Nice
any of
little
you
COVID
confirm
pause,
that?
maybe?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't
think
know
that's what
for
it
sure.
was. I think they did pause it. But other than that, truly the chart looks good. There's a lot of volume support in this area. And as you can see, there's a lot of openings and closings in this area. So there is support. If it falls down, you would want to see it hold this 113 to 114 area. Hold on, let me go in a little more. And obviously, I would want to see it break out over this like 123. As you could see, it kind of gets rejected there a lot and then comes back down. So that would be a show strength. Sorry, what's up?
No worries. I was just gonna ask real quick. Are you more of a fan of trading the breakout or buying the dip?
If the dip happens, I'm definitely a fan of buying the dip. It's either or, truly. I would like to see a dip in this 115 area to really be a buyer. But if it breaks out of this 123, 124, I'd be a buyer too, just at a smaller amount, just in case it does dip. So more so scaling in on the breakout, very small. That's
And
kind
then
of
if
where
it
my
runs and breaks out, then you hammer it. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process. I'd scale in slowly on the breakout, but I'd scale in a little bit heavier on the dip. So, like for example, if the stock broke out, I'd go 25% of my position at 123 or 124, and if it closes that day, that's where I'd buy. Now, if it didn't do that and it went straight down first, I'd probably start my position at like 35 to 40%. So there's a little, differences in the percentage of my position to start with. But yeah, I would prefer the dip, but if it breaks out, I'd be interested to get in as well, as it seems like it would be with strength.
Okay. All right. And then I'm gonna throw something at you now, Nick.
Mhm.
First, I'm gonna shout out to all my zingers out there, Zinger Nation. Like it, share it. I've said it 3 times. We'll say it one more. But do it. Come on, we got to get these numbers up in order for us to keep doing this show. We're at a little bit of cancellation risk, so that's why we got to do it. And then, Mr. Nick, ready?
Yep.
All right, rapid fire time. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna take 6 minutes, 3 stocks. All right. So I'm gonna give you one ticker. But everybody in the chat's asking about FLNT, so let's hit that one and then rapid fire us through 2 setups. Like boom,
and
boom,
I was
boom.
gonna go over this one.
What? What?
I was gonna go over this. Yep.
All right, hit it. Hit this one, and then 2 more rapid fire on the clock. Let's go.
All right, FLNT. Still my long term. I will not be selling this. Like I said, I sold in the 7 to 8 range, 50 to 60% of my account, of my position in this stock. I mean, and I will be adding a lot soon. I said before the earnings to sell, possibly sell 25 to 50%. I sold around 2,000 shares as well as like 50 contracts. And as you could see, it was a good choice. I said we could possibly get a dip and rip, just as APPS and MGNI did over there before they started their massive run as well. And FLNT is the only reason why this is truly down. The earnings were fine. It was the guidance for the next quarter, which is quarter 1, where the CEO stated they would probably receive a hit into the 7 to 10% range in revenue growth just for this quarter, because they are transitioning into focusing on the big 5 new clients that they just received in the past quarter, which was quarter 4 that they just reported on. And, that obviously didn't sit well with many, including myself. It kind of just means the trade is a little longer than we expected. But as stated, this is a long-term trade. It's been a long-term trade since I entered 3 to 4 months ago at the
All right, so
4
you
to
like
5
it. You
range.
still like the stock.
Oh, yes. I still like the stock.
All right, so there's
I
that
do.
one. Hit us 2 more setups. Give us two hot ones.
Well, one to watch is one that's actually moving a bit right now. I'm going to pull it up. Let's see. Archon broke out of this trend line that I had here. But this one's been going crazy over the past hour now. And I honestly just saw it recently. So this is one that could definitely move fast. It's definitely one to be careful of. You could possibly draw something here. Hold on one second. Let me see. Could possibly draw the. No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, you could kind of see something like that.
All right,
This
your RCON.
Yeah.
Okay. So
This
in order to get long this one, do you want to see it bounce off of that bottom support there, or what are you looking for?
If it could get there, yes. If it could get there. If not, it could possibly bounce in this 475 to 480 range. I'm not sure why it's up. I'm going to see if there's news. But it seems like it might just be running on volume and technicals. And this one does move a lot and quickly. So it could be a good scalp trade to watch for the rest of the day and going in and out for 10 to 20 cents in here and there. And it doesn't seem like there's any news that I'm looking at now. But, getting into this range 470 could be a possible good dip entry since we fell from the 510 range and a high of like 515. So possibly get a second run within a short amount of time. So, entry could be 470, possibly 460 to 470. So we'll give a 10-cent range. And stop loss would be around 440, 445. So stop loss is 445. Entry is 460 to 470. The ticker is RCON. And profit would be possibly 485 to 490. So everything.
Right, give us one more.
Yep. Everything I just said on that one is basically like a 15-cent range up and down from the entry.
All right, guys. And again, if you're just joining us, we hit the dun-dun-dun. We're having Nick rapid fire with stocks. He likes FLNT. He likes RCON. I'll drop those tickers in the chat and give us the third one, sir.
This one's not good. Let's see. Trying to look here. Trying to look at these top movers. This is what I really like to see. Things with strength, things with the most volume.
All right.
Could possibly look at this, but looks like the volume's pretty low. One moment.
All right. If you don't have this one, I'm going to pass it to Drew. Drew will give us our last rapid fire stock. What?
You can pass it.
All right, Drew. Rapid fire stock. What is it?
Rapid fire stock.
If not, I got tickers for days.
I have to go with Enphase Energy. This thing has been on a dip for a while. Love me some solar stocks, next gen stocks, the future stocks, maybe 5G.
There's a 1-year chart of it on the screen.
Thing is making a nice little bit of a comeback here, all right, people. So it's been a little bit up and down. I had an insane rally in 2020. I think it was going absolutely bonkers. Tech pulled back. This thing, it needed to pull back for sure. But I really think that this company is going to continue to kill it. And, just keeps on going up.
Boom. There we have it. Rapid fire round. You got Nick, Bull Trade Finder. He likes FLNT. He also likes RCON. And then Drewski with the third pick, rounding us out, ticker ENPH, Enphase Energy. Mm-hmm. Boom. There it is. All right. There we go, guys. All right. Any final words of wisdom? If not,
Yeah, I got
uh,
one.
I've got 2 tickers to hit before our next guest in a minute here.
I got a quick one, Luke.
right.
It's one that we talked about on the last show, ZDGE. I talked about an entry with you and Jason at around the 1350 range. And since then, it did hit that range. It actually even went a little lower into the 1250s. And today it hit a high of 1680. So just in a few days, you could have got basically a $2 to $3 trade. And that one worked out well. And that one, could be good longer term, but I would only add on dips from here.
All right, there we go. All right, guys, we'll drop the link to hear more from Nick in the chat. Thank you, sir, for joining us, throwing us tickers. There's 4 of them for us. You also gave us the analysis on AMAT out of the chat, out of Zinger Nation, representing for you guys. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Take care. And I see
What
Mr.
up,
Raznick's
Zinger
here.
Nation family? How you
Woo.
be? How you guys be? How was your weekend? I'm a little late to the show today, or no, I'm 2 minutes early. I come on at 1 now, but I've been working on some cool product stuff for you guys. You guys have been emailing me and DMing me on Twitter. Wait about 1 more week until what I have to release for you guys. You guys will get excited. And I UPod. This is Jim Cramer's instant messenger name. Under promise and over deliver. And I'm UPodding you guys. I got some stuff. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to buy $150,000 in stock for you guys and see some nice fun movements in the market. But we have 601 people. I can't do it until we have 750 people. So if we're going to do that, you got to share and do all that stuff. I mean, I see some shows with 4,000 people. If I don't know if they're doing some hack or what have you. If you know someone, send them my number, 248-766-0000. I'm ready to hire. 248-766-0000. Whatever it takes. APPS. You sold too early, BNZMB. I'm happy to see that we got what's his name with us. What's his name? What's your name? Dyslexic Invest is your new name?
That's
Yeah.
it. That's his new name, I guess.
Twitter handle.
All right.
Shout out for all the dyslexic people. I like it.
Yeah. Tiny Pie, you gotta figure it out. All right, so this is gonna be exciting. We got this guest coming on. We got a lot of stuff happening at 1 o'clock. We have a lot of stuff happening. My portfolio today, Luke, are you up a lot today?
So I got signed out on my desktop. I was about even earlier today when we started the show.
Want me to share?
Let's see. What am I up now? I'm up $150. It's pretty much flat. Yeah, let's see it.
This is gonna be crazy.
All right. While you're pulling that up, I've got to call this one out. Saw this one in the chat ticker. HOFV Hall of
Eric.
Fame Resorts. Where did you hear it first? Where? Zinger Nation Power Hour, baby. Look at the move in this stock. Here's a 5-day chart. Stock broken out from $2.80 to $5. CEO on the show last week before the move. Stock is moving higher on some NFT chatter. Benzinga News Desk, Benzinga pro.benzinga.com. Exclusive comments from the company on a potential move at NFTs. Basically said they're aware of them. They're looking into it. But check out this move, guys. We literally had the CEO on the show last week. Stock has doubled since then. So if you missed this show, I hope you're really rich. It means you have so much money that you don't care about hitting these 100% baggers.
All right, here we go. Let me give you a little update. Here's me. Here's what I got going today, Lukey. I got Tesla. We're up.
Look at that in your portfolio. HOFV, 4,000 shares. You've doubled your money on that trade, Mr. Raznick.
Yes, sir. Up $4,000 today. We're up 24K on the Tesla, but HOFV, I listen to the Benzinga Power Hour. I make money. Actually, I print money sometimes by listening to the Power Hour. It's insane that these other guys don't listen to it. It's just insane. There's a company called Enphase, ENPH. I think Aaron Bree may have just been talking to it. I think he may have just been talking about it. And look, I own it. And this is just in one of my accounts. I have other accounts. Oh, they're giving me a light here. I see what they're doing. VISL, ZDGE, they were on our show. I mean, look at this. Just by listening to the freaking Power Hour, I do nothing else, guys. I listen to the Power Hour. I literally do nothing else. Look at my account. Leslie's. Yeah, that's going to be a long one. work. That's, MGNI, Magnite. I mean, EXPI, we had the CEO on tap, Leslie's, and now we're gonna get to some of the down ones for the day.
Yeah, we got some awesome love in the chat. Basically saying they make so much money listening to the show. And
I
Eric saying he
respect
sells
it.
options now. Let's do it.
Benzinga's helped me so much. I used to just hold stocks, but now I make extra money selling options. Yeah, Eric, I got to do that too. I got to sell. Yeah, and yeah, we hire Clubhouse Rewind. We hire like people, dude. We hire everyone. There's about 120 people here. We have shows hosted by every race, ethnicity. Like I said, when I started the company, I didn't know who anyone was. And like I said, I started the Detroit FinTech Association, training teaching financial literacy in Detroit high schools. We hire every single person, people that want to impact the outcome. And if they don't, then we go into schools and try to teach them. That's what we do. Okay, so take your hate and take it somewhere else because you won't win here. It's the one place you won't win.
All right. Damn, I love reading all these. I mean, that's what Zinger Nation is all about. Here to make some money together. So Jason, first reaction, you've got Kathy Wood, $3,000 2025 Tesla price target. Where are you at with it?
I mean, we knew it was coming, so I think that's why the increase. But we knew it was coming because on the Benzinga Raz report, we had Kathy Wood on, and she said, I have a new price target for Tesla. So I was buying call options based on that. And now we're up 6.5%. This game.
Go ahead.
What?
I was going to say really quick, I ran a survey on Twitter this weekend. It said $3,000 2025 price target, too high or too low. Almost exactly even. I just dropped the link in the chat. 53% of people said too high. 47 said too low. So the crowd is mixed on this one.
Well, all I'm trying to say, Luke, is the game is not going to get easier than that. You listen to the Raz report. You have Kathy Wood on, new price target. She's the most followed analyst in the history of analysts, and the stock was going to move.
Yep, she absolutely said that. And I saw so many chat members as soon as she said that said, I'm getting into this thing. Easy.
Exactly. Luke is the luckiest guy. He gets paid to make money buying and selling his own stocks with his boss too.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think we have our guest in the waiting room.
Yep. Let's hit
it.
Do
you know how to do it?
I know how to do it. Do you know how to do it?
I don't think you do.
Oh yeah. Well, watch this. Bruce, what's up, man? Welcome to the Power Hour.
Thank you, guys. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us. This
Absolutely.
Is Capital.
Yeah, we try to make it fun. We promise a couple things in this show. We promise that we're going to bring trade ideas.
Yep.
We promise that it's going to be very entertaining and that we're going to have gimmicks. So we're hoping that you can help us with at least the first one, which is a trade idea. And if you have gimmicks as well, we will absolutely take that. But all right, guys, we wanted to bring Bruce onto the show. He runs a very interesting ETF. I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. I'm going to put up a 1-year chart. But Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about it and get everyone antiquated?
Okay, sure. And actually, we thought about the idea almost like 2 years ago. Back then, a couple of friends, now partners, we were thinking, what's the next thing to invest? When the 4G cycle was almost over, we are looking at the 5G cycle. And the way we look at the 5G is not just 5G itself. We really look at it from the cycle perspective. Who might benefit from there? It's the decade-long process. So that's a little bit different from other like 5G ETFs out there. Well, we made a conscious decision to do an ETF rather than traditional hedge funds. And for the exact reason, we got asked by many friends like young friends like you guys. And back then, like, what should we buy? What should we sell? Bruce and the other partners got the similar questions. We were thinking, why not just do an ETF? That's much easier, and that put all your best ideas to capture the biggest themes for the decades to come. And if I feel comfortable to put my sister's money, my parents' money into it, I should feel very comfortable to recommend that to all my friends.
Okay, see, I thought you were going to say if I feel comfortable to put my own money in it, but you just upped the ante right there. You said you're putting your sister's money in it. So if you're putting your sister's money into it, that means you have a very, very high degree of confidence.
Exactly. Well, my money is in there. That's a given. So I don't even want to talk about that. So I do manage my parents' money, my sister's money a little bit. And so actually most of their dollar assets I manage for them. And I put a very significant, into WGI right now. I have confidence. It's not like, for short-term trading vehicle. This is actively managed ETF. That's one thing I want to tell people. That's not, if you want to just trade a tech exposure, QQQ, and SLK and many other things you can use. WGI to a certain extent, ARKK is for people who have a long-term view. Where you park your money, especially in this environment, putting into, a 60-40 portfolio may not be the optimal solution anymore. When the rate is so low, you are looking for it's a growing pie story. Focus on where the pie is growing faster, bigger than anybody else, everywhere else. So I think that's the thesis that are driving this. It's a buy and hold kind of like things until the cycle turns.
and so like when you're talking about like actively managed ETF, how active is it? And can you talk through some of the largest holdings of the ETF?
Okay, sure. First of all, that's actually a very good question, Luke. We are very actively looking at the portfolios, thinking about the new names, what should I add, what should we in. But if you look at our turnovers, it's not that much, probably much less than, at least like compared to ARK, much less than ARK. Last year, I believe our number is around only like 26, below 30%. That's relatively low. Why? We don't trade the quarters in, quarters out. Like again, back to we have a long-term view. I want to say, like think about in the 40 cycle, and at the beginning of the 40 cycle, if you have the faith in the guys benefited from this mobile internet, you hold on to Amazon's, Netflix, Google, and Apple, especially. Your portfolio has 10 years later, your portfolio has been doing fantastic. So that's what we are trying to achieve in the 5G cycle. And we've tried to find the long-term, winners. Well, Luke mentioned like right now, the top holdings in our portfolio, you got like, first of all, like who might benefit from this, 5G cycle? The first thing coming into our mind is like semiconductor industries. And so, 5G is all about connecting everything together as much faster, of speed, and it has much high like capacity. Just 4G is about connecting people. 5G is just extending that to connecting everything. The reason we call it the digital economy, because it's really a process of digitalizing everything. So come to the basics. When you try to digitalize everything, you need a semiconductor chips to power that, right? So to generate, to digitize. So like, first of all, we like semi names. And within semi names, you get like, exposure to the wireless communications, exposure to the high performance computing, which is like a data center / AI. Also the traditional, industrial and auto part. We, again, back to our thesis, we stay into the long-term things. We have much more exposure to the first two. Wireless communications, that's why you see Qualcomm, Qualvo in our portfolio. And also, but at this moment, we actually like the data center, high performance computing part of the semi space, especially given this ARM-based, service, coming up. Is that semi space is not boring at all these days. It's consolidating. New things are coming up every year. That's so exciting to support AI and hyperscalers and the smart edge computing. See, that's where we find a lot of like exciting things going on. You saw Qualcomm, Qualvo I mentioned. We also like NVIDIA. We actually like Marvell. I think we think Marvell is a turnaround story, also very well positioned for this, ARM-based.
That's interesting. That's a stock that I really have not heard talked about much recently at all. It's an interesting one.
Take a look, and we like it. They over the year, it's a turnaround story.
Yeah, here I'm gonna pull a 5-year chart of this one. So there it is.
Yeah, it's doing relatively well these days. They got rid of those like short cycle consumer based, product lines. Really focusing on the like data center part, especially on the ARM part. A company now like Amazon is doing their own ARM CPUs. if other like hyperscalers, they want to do something, if they couldn't like, doing everything entirely on their own, ARM is the perfect partner to have.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that's Sammy. Oh, look, sorry, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say we got a couple people in the chat asking for some deeper thoughts about AMD. Any thoughts on that one?
Well, we love AMD. We love AMD since Lisa Su took over the CEO position, and it's we call AMD is a boring execution. If you go to our like LinkedIn or like Instagram, we are sharing what we saw from AMD all the time. We call it a boring execution. It's now AMD has been doing something magically. They have been telling everybody what they are going to do since like 5 years back. And they just execute so well. Their technology, product roadmap, every step, they have been executing so well under the leadership like, Lisa Su. Well, so that's the first leg of their, growth. They really, really like de-risk the company and having the better products and, grow the earnings. Well, that's, everybody remember last year, like finally, the competitors, you have to throw Intel into this, Last year, Intel finally admitted they had troubles with their manufacturing process, right? That's the second quarter of the year, and the stock tumbled. And that also boosts the stock performance AMD. That gives AMD the second story to tell, and it's multiple expansion. So it enjoyed that multiple expansion after Intel told everybody they kind of like fuck it up. Well, things has changed a little bit. Things has changed a little bit since Pat came to rescue, try to do something for Intel, try to improve their manufacturing process. And I think that's put a cap on AMD. At least the multiple expansion story is a little bit harder to tell at this moment. We have to wait and see. But fundamentally, we just love the company, love the execution, love where they're going, and the theme. This is growing. That's what I mentioned earlier. You want to focus on where the pie is growing bigger and faster. Definitely, AMD is onto it. Hey guys, can you see me?
Yeah. Yep. One more question. So the Nasdaq is still about 5% off of its all-time high. The ETF again, WUGI. Again, that's the ticker there, guys. Obviously came under some pressure when tech stocks corrected. What contributed to some of that downside in the ETF? Like what were some of the main stocks that got hit?
Would love to explain that. It's a very, very good question. Well, if you want to talk about that, you have to talk about like everybody knows like the rates market, 10-year Treasury yield was under pressure, still a little bit under the pressure, and that actually it has basically nothing to do with the stock, equity market itself. It's all coming from the rates market. First of all, this is hyper growth portfolio to a certain extent. We like growthy names, no doubt about that. Well, it comes with a cost. A certain name, at least on the surface, it looks expensive. If you look at the traditional valuation metrics. Well, although we disagree, it looks expensive, but if you know the business well, they are not that expensive at all. Some of them are actually very cheap, given the potential we might be able to achieve. But since the middle of February, the Treasury yield market is putting a lot of pressure on the financial conditions. The symptom is what? The real yield. Sorry, I'm getting into a little bit like too technical here. The real yield is rising really, really fast. It was around like negative 80 bips to negative 100 bips, which was supporting devaluation and the growth stocks. Why? When you have lower real yield and market are willing to give like companies like a higher valuation. Also, that supports hyper growth names because they are all long duration assets. Most of their values are like coming from the term value, what they can deliver 5-10 years down the road. They are very sensitive to the change of the real yield. Well, real yield is rising so fast, that's put a lot of pressure on those stocks. Market were in the mode of shooting first, ask the questions later. I think that contributed to a lot of like names, no matter your good names or bad names. If you're in the growth camp, if you are in the expensive stocks camp, you get killed first. And then I think we're getting to the step market starts asking the questions. Well, I think the good ones, the ones that are actually not that expensive, can deliver the growth they promised to the market, to the investors. They have the better chance to come back. Well, I do tell people, I don't think the real yield is going to go back to the negative 100 bips. Probably we are going to find the equilibrium around the negative 50 bips, which is supporting the valuation of the whole market, but just not as supportive as last year. So a lot of like dream stocks, the price by dreams, and don't give you a solid, growth trajectory, and not able to execute. Should be, very careful with those names.
Okay. And Bruce, let me ask you one more question. So are you the one who's managing the ETF and doing the stock picking? Are there other folks at the company who are doing that? Or how does that process all work?
That's also another good question. We have two research teams. One is in US, the other one is back in China. You look at our portfolios, we have actually pretty good like exposure to Chinese, Asian, like Taiwan, Singapore. So we want to be the group, it's a group of like 5 people now already. We do just like a hedge fund. We do the solid fundamental research. We want to have access to the management team and really just know the business well on both China and the US. I think that, in the 5G cycle, that's where the growth in terms of regions, that's where the growth are coming from. Well, at this moment, we see more opportunities with hard science, hard technologies in US, and the soft side, the application levels are more coming from China or Asia. But that dynamic might shift or change. We won't be the one being able to call it and capture that. So so it's not only me. I have like folks, working in both US and China.
There we go. All right, guys. There you heard it. Bruce joining the Power Hour. First time on the Power Hour. I told him this is the ideal one. This is the fun one, the gimmicks. He definitely delivered on the ideas. Digging into some of your tickers out of the chat. Again, I'm going to put the ticker of the ETF. He and his team, we now know it's a team, actively manages the ticker WUGI. Dropping it in the chat there. Looking for next gen, looking for tech. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Drewski. What do you think of that?
Yeah, a lot of great information. Investing in semis, investing in 5G can be very complicated. It can be a little bit overwhelming. Which ones do you pick, right? I was a fan of Skyworks. I know Qualcomm's a great name out there. Comparing their metrics, the companies they deal with, it can be a little overwhelming. So finding an ETF like that is actually something that I like to do. It takes a little bit of pressure off yourself. These names can get very complicated. You don't know where they're headed, what CPU and all these other kind of acronyms. If you're not too big into, the whole tech space, it can get a little overwhelming. So I do like those plays. And he definitely sounds like someone, he knows what he's talking about. He's got a team in the US, he's got a team in China. I think
that's
well
really
covered.
interesting. The sort of the geographical spread. And real quick, I see some people talking about CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines, in the chat. Carnival, Ryanair, a handful of these travel stocks, especially ones with European exposure, are getting smacked today. Basically, there is concern for a third COVID wave in Europe. A lot of Europe hasn't gotten the same vaccine distribution that we've had. Israel's had. I think Israel led the world. I mean, they've been done vaccinating like 3 weeks ago. But that's the reason for the movement there. And I've got to bounce in a minute here, guys, but I'm going to spaz out one more time, and then we're going to bring some more guests on to talk some more trade ideas, some swing setups, some technical setups, etc. But my last time to spaz for the day, pulling it up, drum roll on this one. All right. Support.com. Come to the front, support.com. Ticker SPRT, Sandy Papa Romeo Tango. Go to our trusty Benzinga pro.benzinga.com. We see right up at the top here, support.com shares are trading high after the company announced a merger agreement with Bitcoin miner Green Ridge Generation Holdings. Okay. So here we have a classic case of a small cap company, $40 million market cap before this news came out, right? $40 million, there it is. A random stock getting into something that is not their main business and running the stock price up. Okay? I do not buy these stocks. All right? Whenever you see, when we're about to see it for NFTs, we've already started. You've got more NFTs coming. You're going to have companies that make chemicals. You're going to have companies that are involved in industrials saying that they are now an NFT play. Whenever we have the new hot thing, crypto is still absolutely a hot thing. We get a wave of companies saying, hey, I am now officially in this thing. So buy my stock. That happened clearly with support.com today. It's working for them. Check it out. Stock's up 204%, gapped from $2 to now $7. As high as over 9. 651 was the last trade. My opinion, I do not buy these stocks. More often than not, you see the slow trickle of death afterward. Let me show you my favorite offender in this category. I'm going to hit a 5-year chart on this one. Mr. Kodak Black, getting pardoned over here. Still can't believe that happened. But check this out. Kodak went from $3 a share all the way up to $13 a share. This was back in 2017 when Bitcoin was making that 20K run. Kodak came out and said, we are not a camera company, you assholes. We are a blockchain company. Slow trickle of death. And then check this out. I got more internet hate in my life for betting against Kodak when it became a COVID stock than any other time in my life. Check this out. Kodak went from $2 all the way up to $60 when the company came out and they said, we are no longer a camera, chemical, etc. company. We are now a COVID play. Going to be working on COVID drugs. And then, of course, you got the slow. I mean, it was a pretty quick trickle of death. Here's 1 year on that one. It only took a few days. Hit that thing with puts. It died. Again, that's my spiel on these companies that all of a sudden start doing something that they don't do. You know, it's a hustle. I do not like these stocks. If you hit them and you're right, good for you. Congratulations. We'll all clap for you by ourselves at home. But Jesus Christ, support.com. I mean, let's go to their website. I haven't even checked this out yet. Support.com. We're doing this together for the first time. World's home sourcing leader for customer support. But now all of a sudden it is a Bitcoin miner. So if your business needs help for customer support and your business needs Bitcoin mining, I guess you should go to support.com. That's why I hate that one. Free Kodak. And with that, Drewski, I'm going to say everybody hit the follow on Twitter. I'll drop the link in the chat here in a second. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this stream. Drew, producer AB are about to take this thing over. I am going to be getting prepared for a big biotech conference, guys. Check this out. I know I said one more thing. I've got a bad habit of saying one more thing and doing 8 more things. But check this out. Here's my trusty Benzinga Pro. I'm going to go over to my gainers and losers widget. I use this thing every single day to see all the stocks that are up and down. And so if we set this to today, we look at all these stocks that are way up and way down today, with the exception of support.com. Check it out. A lot of them are these biotech stocks, right? Here's one. I'm guessing this is one. Here's one. Here's one, etc. Wednesday and Thursday this week, guys. Benzinga on this channel. We are hosting a small cap biotech conference. We're going to hear from 60 companies in the biotech space over the course of 2 days. There are going to be presentations back to back, rapid fire, telling us here's why our company is a compelling investment idea. So don't miss that. Stay tuned. I'm about to go over to that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and have some fun with Mr. Drew, producer AB. Throw me the follow on Twitter, guys. And without further ado, happy trading.
Great exit from Luke there.
What up, y'all? How we doing today?
We're killing it. How are you, producer?
Can you hear me okay? I'm just using my laptop mic because I'm in a hotel right now. So if my connection gets all bad, it's the hotel, not me.
No, you're looking great, sounding great. Luke was just talking about NFTs and Kodak. I think, honestly, I would not be surprised. I was going to ask him this question. Do we think that Kodak's going to drop some type of NFT?
That's a good point. I mean, they're already in the, development. I don't even know. Do they still develop film and stuff for photos? I mean, it seemed like that'd be a pretty easy transition. I've seen some other companies are kind of integrating like a physical copy of an NFT. Like it's like have you seen that?
Yeah, like, are you referring to Beeple's NFTs that he was selling? Like they're physical, digital, like almost like a screen that he would sell with it.
I saw one too. That was like someone opened a box. I saw like a TikTok or a video on Twitter of it where someone opened a box, pulled out like it looked like just like a glass square, and then they clicked the button and it showed like the LeBron James card and the highlight they had.
Really?
So it's pretty cool to see like a physical copy of an NFT.
Yeah, that is awesome for sure.
What have you been trading today, Drew? You got any trades you were making today?
I have not been making any trades yet today. Kind of just holding right now. How about yourself?
Yeah, I had a few kind of like open option contracts that were moving today that I haven't really sold. I'm gonna check my Robinhood real quick. Yeah, I had some open calls on Facebook I was talking about last week because I liked last week, just looking at the charts from a technical standpoint, seeing Facebook was kind of holding a lot of relative strength against other technology stocks. And part of that is a lot of people are saying kind of the Oculus VR side is being kind of undervalued right now because Facebook is still being looked at on a macro level as like a social media company, even though the way they're producing this, AR, VR through Oculus is going to be really big, apparently.
Interesting. Have they gotten any recent news on that AR, VR side of things?
Yeah, well, there was an article that came out a couple weeks ago talking about how like more and more employees, they were essentially like transferring over to their AR, VR department. I think the numbers were like 20% of their total workforce are now working on the AR, so augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality side of the Oculus, which, it seems like they're kind of the leader in that space right now. I mean, I know Microsoft and Sony will probably in the future put out a VR version of the PlayStation and Xbox, but for right now, the Oculus is far and away the leader in that market.
Yeah, definitely. I've used it, I think once or twice before. Pretty incredible stuff. It should be interesting to see if there's a really like a use case in that for any, engineer or anything. But for entertainment wise, it's very fun. Pretty exciting stuff there. One stock I've been watching for the last month or so, though.
Hey, I'm going to teach both of you guys how to invest.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
I've been waiting for this
I'll take you from 12%, 12% down a year to 100% up a year. My 3-year return is 480%. There is going to be a hedge fund started. Okay, you guys are hearing it first. Just letting you guys know, do your thing, and we'll do because there's a guy, Mitch Hotch, he wanted a stock contest against me. We started, and then he quit. He knew it couldn't happen. I am the stock king.
I can't argue with that. I gotta, we'll have to make some trades and go. Oh, he's gone. Portfolio versus portfolio versus the stock king Raz himself. Well, hold on, I'm gonna share this. I've got the article pulled up that I was talking about. Let me. I'm getting knocked on my hotel room. I think they're trying to kick me out. Give me one second. But yeah, so hold on, let me go up so you can actually see this. Almost a fifth of Facebook employees are now working on VR and AR.
Wow.
I mean, that's significant to me that a company of that magnitude is shifting their workforce and their assets to that side of the, business.
Yeah, that is extremely interesting, right? 10,000 employees in the Reality Labs division. That's a lot of people, right? 10,000 people. That's kind of crazy to think about. And these are some of the most bright people on the planet, and they're all working on one thing. I'm extremely excited now. I didn't realize it was that big. That is some pretty substantial news there. It should be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it really that was kind of my, you asked if there was any news. I saw this and I was like, that's interesting, and kind of just dove in. I'm not going to say more on it because I didn't do a bunch of DD on it. I just kind of hopped into it. It's been working out so far. Drew, I do see we have our next guest waiting. I'm going to go ahead and throw his TikTok link in the chat, and let's go ahead and bring him on. I'm going to stop, take this screen off. Brandon, how we doing today?
I'm good. What's up, Drew? And
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good. It's
I'm Aaron. Sorry, it just says AB there, but
hey, man. Hey, hold on. Yeah, my camera's being whacked. But hey, how you guys doing?
we're good. I mean, it's how about you? Were you doing some trading today, or?
I was. So today was kind of iffy. Market just chopping. I only traded Facebook today. That was the only thing.
Were you listening to us? Or were we just talking about Facebook?
Yeah. So I was saying over the weekend that Facebook had a huge gap to fill because if you zoom out to the monthly time frame, there's a huge bull flag, and it finally broke it last. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. My bad. So yeah, there's a huge gap to fill all the way to 300, and that's basically like all I was watching today. So that's the only trading I've done.
Yeah. Are you still pretty long Facebook, or you got out of those trades today?
I got out of it because, in my opinion, it's pretty overextended. It had room to that 300 level, which is just a psychological level, and it hit 299.71. So, pretty close. But yeah, I think it's gonna pull back for a little bit. It still has a nice run to 304.67, which is all-time highs, and then if it does break there, it has a fib level all the way at 321. And nothing in between 304 and 321.
All right, so I'm looking at I got the 6-month chart pulled up right here on Benzinga Pro. I'm looking at, so it looks like back on August 20th, August 25th. That's when, kind of that in the fall, we were seeing a lot of strength in tech and a lot of strength in, those blue chip tech stocks between Facebook, Amazon. And since then, a lot of them have been, kind of doing this, like trading flat since then. But I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back up and tests these, 305, almost to 310 levels here in the next couple months.
Yeah. And then also what I'm watching is going to be DraftKings. So DraftKings is actually setting up beautifully for an upside continuation. If it can hold above 72, I would say like 72, 75 by the end of today, there's a huge gap to fill all the way to 77, which is another fib level. If you go pivot high, pivot low, I believe it's from that recent all-time high, like way back. And then just that 127 extension lines up at 77, and I think they could possibly fill the gap.
Got it.
So that's another thing that I'm going to be watching very closely, especially for swings.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have a lot of attention on DraftKings, obviously, with Kathy Wood being so long it. Everyone is, watching that one. Sorry, Brandon. Let's back up real quick for a second since I didn't really, do a proper job of introducing you. Can you go ahead and just tell us, our audience, like what about your TikTok page, kind of how you got started investing?
Yeah, so real quick, my TikTok is Brandon Trades. I think you said you linked it in the comments. But yeah, so long story short on how I started trading. I was going to college for criminal justice, realized that I really didn't want to do that. It just wasn't for me. I remember the first time I started doing options trading, I only made $40 on a contract. That was it. But it was within 10 minutes. So I was like, this is pretty cool. And then ever since then, it was just I actually enjoy sitting here watching the charts every single day, and the money and everything is really good. And then, especially now because I have a bigger platform, I think I have 85,000 followers on TikTok. I have people messaging me all the time saying that I inspire them and stuff like that. So now it's just it's not even about the money that I'm making. It's more so putting myself out there to inspire other people. So that's what's really rewarding about this whole thing. But yeah.
Definitely. So Brandon, maybe kind of break down, what type of trader are you? What type of setups do you look for,
Yeah, so mainly an options trader. I'm very technical when it comes to my trades. Obviously fundamentals are very important to me, but if there's some type of fundamental news and the technicals do not line up with it, I'm not going to take the trade. So I would say 99% of my trades are based strictly off of technicals. And I stick more to the bigger movers like Boeing, Facebook, Microsoft, stuff like that. Not so much, the small cap stocks. So just mainly the stocks that move, at least $5, $10, $15 a day. That's usually what I end up trading.
Definitely. I like that about Brandon, right? He knows exactly where he's at. He's not saying, today I'm going to be fundamental. Today I'm only going to be technical. He knows exactly where he's at. CCIV, we had some people kind of flipping, no, I'm in this for the long term all of a sudden. Brandon knows what he's getting in at. He knows how long he's going to hold it for, and he knows where he's going to exit. Super important, especially for a technical trader, guys. Really great stuff coming from there. Any other stocks, you're watching for the rest of today? Maybe some stuff you want to see in the rest of the week?
Yeah, so Chegg is something I'm also watching very closely. If you zoom out to the daily time frame on Chegg, it formed a cup and handle, and it's currently trying to hold above it. So like I said, I'm very technical when it comes to trading. The 55 EMA is what I'm looking at as my entry, which ends up lining up at 93.16. So it's currently above it right now. So I'm kind of looking for Chegg to hold above 93.16 by the end of the day. And then it has a straight shot to 97. So around a $4 move. And, if you're trading options, $4 is, quite a bit of money. So watching that very closely. I said DraftKings, Facebook, made most of its move. I would also say Bed Bath & Beyond is something I've just been, waiting around 3 weeks for. Again, if you go to the daily, there is an ascending triangle, and it looks like the entry would be above 33.44. If it holds above 33.44, there's a straight shot to 41. So those Bed Bath & Beyond I've been waiting on for a few weeks, but I think today might be the day I end up taking Chegg, maybe do some type of spread on it. And then, like I said, what was the other one? DraftKings. But yeah, those are the three mains that I'll be watching for the rest of the week.
So for Chegg, when you're looking to do a trade on that, are we looking at something, a weekly trade? What type of options are you going to be trading? I know you talked about a spread. What makes you decide the strategy that you're going to be implementing, and then what kind of time frame are we looking at?
Right. So the first thing I look at is the ATR. How much does this thing actually move in a day? So Chegg, it looks like it moves, what is that? $5 a day. So it could fill the gap tomorrow if it really wanted to. But today it already moved almost $3. So I'm more than likely going to wait till tomorrow if I'm going to day trade it. However, swings, I could put this thing on today because it looks like it only has monthly expirations. So I could do an April 16th contract 25 days from now. But the 95s, they're a little expensive, sitting at 355. So I might have to do, some kind of debit spread, maybe a butterfly spread. Those are, my favorite spreads to do. But it looks very good for upside potential. And, if it closes above that 93.18 level, it's got a straight shot to 97.
So wait, so Brandon, real quick, you said when you started trading, did you start with options?
Mm-hmm.
How would you because I know on your education or on your TikTok, you do some educational material besides just, trade ideas and stock pitches essentially. What do you tell people that are just getting into options? Because obviously it's kind of a riskier way to invest than just buying common stock.
Yeah. So, what I tell people is really when you get into options, you can make a lot of money or you can lose a lot of money. So you got to be very patient. You have to know exactly what you're doing. And I tell people whenever I go to teach a new student, I'm it's probably going to take a year until you're actually consistent with this because, there's so much more that goes into it than, buying a call and the stock goes up, you'll make money. You have, the Greeks, so delta, gamma, theta, and vega and everything that plays a huge role. But yeah, I tell everybody it's going to take time to specifically get good at options because there's so many other factors that play a role. You have spreads also. So if you buy in when the spread is huge, you could get screwed in the long term.
Right.
So that's what I tell people. But at the end of the day, it's very rewarding when you get good at it. And once you reach that 1 year mark, the thing is with trading, the more you do it, the longer you do it, the better you get at it. So that's what I always tell people.
Right. And what are the benefits to trading these bigger market cap stocks like Facebook and DraftKings and stuff, trading options on them. I know you pay like a higher premium, but you know, a lot of times I see people trading these swing options on these cheaper stocks and stuff. But to you, what is the benefit of sticking to these bigger stocks like Facebook?
Yeah, so like they're proven companies. They've been here for such a long time. You know, a lot of these new stocks, and you guys were talking about NFTs, which, you know, I'm pretty big on the NFT stocks, but a lot of them are going to say like, hey, we're transitioning over to NFT or NFTs, but like in reality, they're not really known for doing that. Like you guys were talking about Kodak. So, you know, that thing shot up big time and then came back down way back. I don't even know how long ago it was. But you know, if you trade Facebook, you know what Facebook is. So, and they're going to be here for a very long time. So the reason I prefer trading these big cap companies is because one, they actually move a decent amount. Facebook moves $9.60 a day on average. So if you're trading options, $10 a day, that's pretty big, especially if you have like a $40 delta. That's huge. But if you're trading like a small cap company, like, I don't know, OCG, which is another NFT name, they move, now they move $2, but like last week it was less than $1. So you can't really do options on that.
Right. So you have that's what I like too about trading some of the bigger options with some of the bigger stocks like Facebook and Apple and stuff, is it's easy for them to see, like, you know, like a 2% move for them is like $5 or $6, and that can really, you know, make you at like 20% on a call option easy in a day.
Yeah, exactly. And also the smaller caps, what I've seen, they're more prone to news, if that makes sense. So like if OCG had bad news come out, I've just seen the smaller caps react even more to it. But stuff like Boeing, it could have planes crashing and everything. It'll gap down pre-market, but it instantly comes straight back up. So that's another reason why I stick to the big caps.
Speaking of Boeing, I'm going to pull that stock chart up real quick, because what I think is interesting about this one, so we can look at the 2-year right here, is pre-COVID, you know, it was trading at 340, and obviously with COVID, you know, no one's flying, you know, whatever, drops all the way down to, you know, I think below 100 briefly, 93. All the other airline stocks, if you look at them, are basically back up to their, you know, pre-COVID levels, and Boeing still has a way to go there. And, you know, I know they've had other problems. They've had, you know, some problems with planes, but at the end of the day, like you said, Boeing's not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing I noticed with Boeing too, is, you know, its all-time highs is in the 400s. It's only at 250. So it's got a long way to run. And from a technical standpoint, you know, it looks beautiful for a continuation to the upside. Right now, it's just kind of flagging. And what is that? 253.71 is a very important level for Boeing. So as long as it can hold above that, yeah, right there.
You said 253.71?
Yeah, so
you're getting close. It's 253.87 right now, but it's bouncing up. It looks like it's, you know, oh, there it goes back up. It looks like it's going to hang around right there.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a very technical trader. The 8 EMA is actually where that level is. The 8 EMA, if a stock closes below it on a daily time frame, that's usually pretty bad for the stock. I've just seen when it closes below the 8 EMA, it tends to have more of a pullback to the downside. So that's why I chose that 253.75 area, which is the 8 EMA.
So it seems like you rely on some of these, or not rely, but use some of these, you know, the Greeks and some of these other technical indicators. Where would you like direct a newer trader if they wanted to learn more about some of those?
Yeah, so, you know, there's tons of books out there that you could read, tons of YouTube videos, mentors. You know, I dedicate a lot of my success to my mentor, to be honest with you, because he taught me everything. And he was trading for like 20 something years. So, you know, I got some pretty good education from him. But yeah, you can find mentors everywhere. You can find a bunch of YouTube videos that will explain this stuff, books. But yeah, that's where I would direct people. So like, you know, properly educate yourself. before you start using real money. And yeah, that's just what I would suggest.
Is there one like technical indicator or one, Greek that you would point people to, be like, if you're going to start, you got to learn this?
Honestly, the Fibonacci sequence for exponential moving averages, in my opinion, is probably the most important. So if you just went on or go on Google and type in Fibonacci sequence, and you'll find a whole mathematical sequence. So it comes down to the main ones would be 5, the 5 EMA, 8 EMA, 21 EMA, and 55 EMA. And once you learn how to master those 4 EMAs, those EMAs probably dictate 95% of my trades, to be honest with you. So yeah, I would start there with those EMAs.
Drew, how do you feel on that stuff? Do you need Brandon to break down what an EMA is for you real quick?
Yeah, kind of explain to us, why you use Fibonacci's. What do you like about exponential moving averages? Tell us a little bit more about that stuff.
Yeah, so real quick, Fibonacci, just a famous mathematician from, I think it was Italy, but he found when you add up a certain sequence of numbers in a certain order, it applies to many things in life. So if you went on Google right now and you typed in Fibonacci in nature, you're going to see it applies to stuff like acorns, sunflowers, snakes, just all this random stuff. It's weird. But really what the sequence comes down to, and I'll just, describe it real quick. You start with 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 1 = 3, 3 + 2 = 5, 5 + 3 = 8, so on and so forth. So that's how I get the 5, 8, 21, and 55 EMAs, just from that, addition. But once I learned that from my mentor, and I went back and I back tested these specific exponential moving averages, it's crazy how to a T, the stock, the price of the stock will react to these moving averages. So something like the 5 EMA, whenever the stock gets overextended from it, it'll always pull back to it. So if we looked at Boeing, do you still have Boeing up?
Yeah.
If you go to the daily on Boeing, the 15th, when it hit 278.
Okay, let me go back to the. We're looking at March 15th, you said?
Yeah. So it got super overextended from the daily, from the daily 5 EMA. So the daily 5 EMA at that point was all the way down at, I don't have my glasses on, my bad, 254. So the fact that Boeing was now $24 above the 5 EMA, it's evident that it's going to pull back. And it did just that. It pulled right back to the 5 EMA the following day. And then the day after that, it continued to go back up in price before getting pulled again.
Got it. So anytime if you see a company and I don't know if I asked you this, but I know you trade options. I assume you buy puts too. You'll trade on both sides.
Yeah.
So if you see a stock kind of go up that much above its EMA, that's a good sign for you that there's going to be a pullback.
Yeah. So if it gets super overextended like that, I'll definitely do day trade puts. I just need a smaller time frame to confirm. But yeah, when it gets overextended like that from the daily 5 EMA, that is definitely something you want to look at, especially if you want to try to get some puts.
Yeah, and then Brandon, I don't know what you use to track your Fibonacci's and stuff, but you can actually share your screen real quick if you want. And what I want to kind of do is take a ticker out of the chat and just see kind of how you would set that up and look at it.
Yeah. So how do I share my screen?
There's a button right below or on the bottom that says share screen, and it'll have different options. So if you have it open in a browser, it's easiest to just share that specific tab.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, so if you open the tab first and then you click that button and go to on the far right side, it'll say share tab or share window browser, and then just click on whatever. Oh yeah, you got it.
I got it. Cool.
Yep.
So you want to look at BBY. Okay. I would say this probably wouldn't be the best. Are you talking about Fibonacci retracement or the EMAs?
Either one. Just basically, I just want to see your kind of. Well, I guess for the Fibonacci, it'd have to be a good candidate for it. Do you have one in mind that for that?
Yeah, so for the Fibonacci retracements, Facebook, beautiful example. Now, so last week I ended up putting on $320 calls for Facebook, expiring 4/16. We flipped out for 100%, but the whole reason I chose that 320 is because for Fibonacci retracement, you have to start from a pivot high to a pivot low. So if we just took this all-time high way back here at 304.67 to the low right here, and we just drew a line, the 127 extension lines up perfectly with 321. That's why I bought the 320. So you'll notice a lot of the times, especially with Fibonacci retracement, as soon as it breaks the 100%, which would be here at 304.67, it's usually pretty quick to gap fill to 127.2. So I think a good example would be DraftKings, because we did a DraftKings swing trade a few weeks ago and I had to do this. I don't know if it's still on my chart. I think it is. Yeah, so right here. If we took the pivot high to pivot low of this all-time high back here, let me actually put on the 100% fib level. Let's see. So, going way back, this was the all-time high for DraftKings. Now, as soon as it broke the 100%, in reality, you have nothing else blocking it from going to that 127 extension, which was right here. So if there is a 127 extension and no other resistance, the market's going to be pretty quick to gap fill that before having some kind of price reaction. Now, if we zoom back even further and we take this pivot high to this pivot low, you can see we have a 127 extension lining up right here. So now the way I'm looking at it, right, is that if we break above this 127 extension, there's now nothing blocking it till right here. No resistance. We're at all-time highs. We have to use a fib level. So what did it do? It gap filled here first, and then it gap filled all the way up to here before it gave a pretty, decent pullback. So now looking at DraftKings yet again, we have all these pivot high to pivot lows on the Fibonacci, and there is nothing blocking it from here to here. That's why I think they're going to gap fill that 77. That's why I'm watching it very closely. And going back to the 5 EMA, the reason that DraftKings pulled back today was because it was all the way up here at open, and the 5 was all the way down here. What did it do? It pulled back straight to the 5 and actually almost hit the 8 before going back up in price. So
awesome. So when you're doing that pivot high, pivot low, it's a little bit after the stock. Obviously, the stock is, maybe hit an all-time high or just like a high for a short term. And then you wait for it to hit a low, maybe trade for a day or two, and then you do the pivot high, pivot low, or how are you setting these up on your chart?
Yeah, so you need to have like a defined pivot high, pivot low. So you're not going to know that this was the pivot low until probably right here. So here, let me actually just draw one real quick. So if we notice this was a pivot high right here to a pivot low, we're not going to know this is like the legit pivot low probably till here or here. Mm-hmm. So all we would do, take that high to that low, and notice the price action once it hits these extensions. It's actually, in my opinion, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, like out of everywhere it could have stopped and based as support multiple times. Why here? It's because of a fib level from this pivot high to this pivot low. My bad.
So in this setup, would you wait for it to break out of that 100%? I know you've talked about that a little bit. Or are you waiting maybe for it to kind of rebound to one of the other levels before you get in? Do you like to buy the dip or buy the rip?
So in these kind of setups where, I'm kind of waiting so I'm expecting it to eventually break the 100% and go straight to the 127. Mm-hmm. That's where the moving averages come in handy. So, if we look at the 5, 8, 21 EMA, you can see that they're all stacked on top of each other. And you can see that they're, kind of hinting to us that DraftKings is going to continue in price. So in this area, usually the way I use the 5 and 8 is if I notice the stock is just holding above the 5 and 8 EMA, I'm going to take a swing trade for a continuation to the upside. All this thing has to do is close below the 8 EMA, and I'll probably be stopped out of the trade. So if we were looking at this scenario right here, 5 days in a row, DraftKings just sat here and constantly got wicks off of the 8 EMA. So what happened? As soon as it broke the 127, it went straight to the 127. So I would use the 127 as a price target. And like, I'm really giving up this much of a stop loss, probably like 10-15% to make unlimited upside. And I've done this so many times on so many different trades. It's crazy.
I don't know about you, Drew. But I like unlimited upside.
Yeah.
I'm more of a selling options guy. I really like to sell puts and sell calls in some stocks when I see the opportunity. But don't get me wrong. If you know what you're doing, you definitely can maximize returns. Who doesn't like unlimited upside, right? But kind of circling back to something you're getting at, I know that you really like to talk about this, brand, on your TikTok, risk and reward. So as a new trader, the first time I trade options, I did a few all-ins. I'm guilty. I've done it before. Luckily, I didn't blow up an account when I did that. But how should people manage risk and reward, right? These trades, you said you made 100%, you're putting stop losses, 10, 15%. Those are, big numbers, right? How much should I be throwing on one of these option trades? What are you like? What type of percentage are you throwing on one of these trades?
So as for a stop loss, I don't really have like a set percentage. I would just say it really depends where you enter as far as technically, because if we go to the Facebook day trade today, if we go down to the 5 minute, there's so many like different chart indications that we can use to help skew the risk to reward. So if we're looking at Facebook on the 5 minute, it was forming a bull flag. So a bull flag, a continuation pattern to the upside. All this thing had to do was close below the bull flag, and I was stopped out of the trade. So in reality, it was probably 15-20% if I had to guess on a day trade. And you can see Facebook ran all the way from, how much was that? From the breakout of the bull flag, like $6. So if I entered right here, I'm giving up less than $1, 80 cents for $6 of upside. And options, that's huge. If we go to my silver trade from a long time ago, I don't even know if I still have the chart.
Real quick, Brandon, it's gonna have to be the last chart we got to look at. We got another show starting, but go ahead and finish up.
All right, cool. And then going back to the moving averages, 21 EMA, very important level. So like I said, when you get overextended from the 5 EMA, it always pulls back. So earlier in the day, super overextended. I waited for it to come back, hit the 21 EMA, and you can see I still have it drawn on my chart. This was my stop. I entered right here. So I'm probably giving up 10% on this contract, gapped up 100% this day, sold half. Last half was like 220%, something crazy like that.
Wow.
Awesome.
I would say it really depends where you enter.
Got it. I was just going to say thank you for joining us. I'm going to link your TikTok in the comments one last time so people can go follow you there and get some more information from you there.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Drew, any last questions for Brandon?
No, I think that's all. Appreciate you, Brandon, coming out. Great information spread. Definitely drop a like, guys, as we go into the next show.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
We got Spencer coming on with the ETF special show. So if you want to learn some more about ETFs, then stick around with Spencer.